Hello and welcome. I'm HT Bell, and if there's anything I love more than aliens and the supernatural, it is mysterious creatures. This segment of my channel is called Is It Real? And it is dedicated to cryptids. Today, we are sculpting the Michigan Dogman, and at the end, I will tell you if I think it's real or not, and give you my reasoning as to why. So remember, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications. Let's get started.
Let's start with the armature. I decided to go with a solid aluminum foil core and debated on whether or not to do the head and body separate. Usually I do. It just makes sculpting a whole lot easier. But I figured that because it was just a torso and a head, I could get away with sculpting them together. And we'll see how that works out later on. As you can see right now, I am rounding off the shoulders with a couple of half wooden spheres. We'll come back to see how the sculpture is progressing later. Let's talk about the Dogman. The Michigan Dogman is described as being between 7 to 10 feet tall, agile, bipedal, with gray fur covering head to foot, large head, pure black German Shepherd ears, a boyish face, baby face for any of you who don't know what that means, wolf-like snout, bear-like face, amber-colored eyes, clawed hands, canine-like features, human-like torso, with some simian features in the face as well. More on that later. Let's see how the sculpture's going. It kind of looks like a baboon right now. There I go, putting on the abs. And working out, blocking out the muscles. He's looking alright right now. Not bad. And oh, there we go. Yep, I knew a problem was going to come up. He has no neck. Yeah, I knew that would cause an issue. Anyways, back to the Dogman. The Michigan Dogman was popularized by DJ Steve Cook's song The Legend in 1987. This was meant to be an April Fool's prank. He claims that he made the events of the song up, but calls of real-life sightings started rolling in. Folklore says that the Michigan Dogman emerges on the 7th year of every decade. Most sightings occur in the Manistee River and the Upper Peninsula. Linda S. Godfrey has drawn similarities to Wisconsin's Beast of Bray Road in her book, The Beast of Bray Road. It is believed to have originated from the shapeshifter stories told by the indigenous tribes of the area. The first sighting was in 1887 in Michigan's northern wilderness in Wexford County by two lumberjacks. They claimed to have witnessed a creature in the woods with a human body and the head of a dog. Its eyes were amber-colored, they could see its fangs, and its cry was more human-like than wolf. Speaking of amber-colored eyes, I am painting the cabochons right now with folk art acrylic paint. I used yellow and orange to make the amber, and then To give it a more realistic iris look, I painted the back of them pure black. I am scratching off the excess paint now. You have to be very careful because it is glass, so the paint will scratch off easily. Now, when you're working with cabochons, you want them to have a nice, even surface of clay spread out behind them. So what I'm doing is that I am poking little balls of clay back there so that when I poke the eyes in, it'll spread nice and evenly. And the reason why you want to do this is because if there's any air bubbles on the back of the cabochons while it's in the oven, it will cause the glass to crack. So you don't want that. Now I'm going back and I'm taking this baboon shaped head and shaping it into a more dog / bear form. There I go, just working on more of the musculature. I'm liking how that face is turning out. Okay. Overall though, he looks really squatty. That's something I'm not really thrilled about right now. But the head is looking really good. It's gone from looking like a baboon to an actual bear-wolf hybrid. I switched to one of my armature rigs to get more lift out of him because it was becoming increasingly difficult to work on the details. Again, this is why you should work on the head and body separate from one another. Okay, this is not working. Normally, I would sculpt the head and the body separate, but I figured that because it was just a torso, there would be no problem sculpting them together. I was wrong. The anatomy is screwed up. He has no neck, so I am gonna do what I should have done, which is separate the head and sculpt them separately. I will be back momentarily. Now that they're separated, I'm gonna fix the body off camera. Be back in a jiff. Welcome back. That looks so much better. The next step is to give the torso a furry look. I looked this up and from what I could find, it says that the Dogman has matted fur. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to give it a very clumpy, unkept look. I'm using cosplay to do this. I've gotten in the habit of using cosplay for hair, beards, and stuff like that. It's really good for parts that are thin, like flyaways, flatter objects, that would normally break. But for this, I think I could have just gotten away with using Sculpey. Anyways, let's finish the Dogman story. And fair warning, I'm not from Michigan, so I'm probably gonna butcher a lot of these names. The next sightings happened in 1937. The most notable was in Paris, Michigan. A man named Robert Fortney was attacked by a pack of 5 wild dogs. He managed to fend them off, and they ran away. There was one among them that stayed behind. The dog stared at Robert from a distance. That's when it stood up on its hind legs and disappeared into the woods. Similar reports of a bipedal dog-like creature had been reported in Allegan County in the 50s, and then again in 1967 in Manistee and Cross Village. A rash of sightings happened in Grand Haven and Ottawa County between 1993 and 1994. Most of these encounters happened to one person who simply goes by Ben. He claims to have seen the creature on 3 separate occasions. One such encounter happened December of 93. He was at his parents' house on Lakewood Drive. The Dogman was spotted standing on its hind legs, hiding behind the car in the driveway. Ben screamed at the sight of it, and the Dogman ran away. An anonymous witness in 1994 was driving in the same area and hit a large animal with his car. He thought it might have been a deer, only to find nothing there. He picked gray fur out of the grill of his car. That's the story of the Michigan Dogman. Now, let's finish off the sculpture with a beautiful paint job. Well, I think he came out great. A little derpy looking in the face, but then again, a lot of these accounts I read about, he seems to run away whenever he sees people, so I don't see him being a particularly dangerous creature, so the derpiness probably gives him a more innocent look. So I'm fine with it. The stand he's on is unfinished. I am actually going to finish that later. I have a plan for his stand. I think that the stand needs to reflect the piece it's holding. So I am going to do that later. I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to film it. If I do, it's going to be posted as a short. So keep an eye out for that. Now we get to the part where I tell you if I think this creature is real or not. And yes, it is a real creature. However, it's not what people in Michigan are thinking it is. This is actually an identified animal. And I am going to show you pictures of it. Yes, there are pictures of it, and they should be on screen now. I'm going to give you a moment to look at them and see if you can figure out what it is. figured it out yet? It's very werewolf looking, isn't it? Well, this is a bear with mange. I know, they are so radically different when they don't have their fur. This shocked the hell out of me. I didn't realize that a bear's ears were big like this and pointed. I always thought they were round, but hey, that's just how deceptive their fur covering is. So with that being said, these animals are sick. It is mange that makes them lose their fur. And if you do see an animal in this condition, this can affect dogs, coyotes, wolves, raccoons, cats. I mean, you see any animal that is very sickly looking like this and is missing its fur, call animal control, call your local WLPA. You will be doing that animal the biggest favor on the planet. With that being said, if you want to know more about it, I will leave the link at the end of this video so that you can read more about this. But yeah, these animals here are not a cash grab. They're not something to get famous over. They are very sick, they are suffering, and they need help. So, okay. Wow, that was kind of a downer. First video I made was of my dead cat as a cartoon character, and now this just turned into a PSA for animals with mange. I assure you they're not all going to be downers like this. But anyways, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell for more notifications. And I'll see you for the next one.